Amanda, I am so excited for this conversation. You have such a depth of experience from motherhood, loss, faith, and then identity shifts, and you are so good at sharing that in such like a beautiful and relatable way. So before we just like really dive into it all, how are you feeling about life these days?
Well, one, that was very nice. All those things made me feel very good. Really, really, really good. The last time I was on a podcast, my answer was like the total opposite. I was so sad and so lonely, and we were grieving community deeply, and we're exhausted and so hopeful for change. And I feel like I'm on the opposite side of that right now. And so that was a long answer, but really good.
That
Really good.
makes me so happy. I love to hear that.
Me too.
Because I'm in that flip side right now. Like our family is really going through it. So it's really encouraging to be like, okay, you've gone through hard things and they get better. It's really encouraging.
Every time I feel like, but sometimes the hard times are way longer.
Yeah.
This one was long.
Okay. I want to hear about all of it. So you've been really open about grief and its different forms from miscarriage to identity and community, loss of relationships. So what has grief looked like for you in these seasons?
Um, well, I'll give you just like a quick rundown for anyone who might not know. I've been pretty open about grief, and we lost my dad and sister in a tragic car accident in 2009. So I was 23, like just a few months away from graduating college, and that kind of a loss, like just it wasn't like my dad and sister just died. It was like everything was gone. Like I moved home to be with my mom. My boyfriend at the time moved away to student teach, and it was kind of just like it wasn't just my dad and sister died. It was like an implosion. He was a pastor, and the church was gone, and it was like a whole new life. And so I talk a lot about that because that grief is really it's just such a big part of who I am and my family and just it's just in everything. But then yeah, I shared we miscarried our son in 2020, and I had no plans of sharing it, but I it was my first loss like that, and I just went to stories, like, as I was actively miscarrying, like, I think I was just in shock, um, because my midwife was like, "Why didn't you call me?" I said, "I don't know." I just, like, opened my phone and just I didn't know what to do. And it ended up being one of the coolest experiences with the internet I've ever had because it opened this, like, floodgate of women who didn't have anyone to talk to about their lives, and I'm gonna jump to one little thing really fast. I trained to be a therapist, and there's like so much there, but went to grad school as we were having all of our daughters, and then once we had our fourth was like, I'm a different human. I can't do this. But all that training, it really allowed me this unique experience to like get to partner with these I mean, I call them my internet friends, but all these women from walks of life that had carried all this miscarriage trauma, and I don't know, it changed my life. Like it's still
Wow.
I still get, I mean, if not daily, at least every other day of women miscarrying and are like, I don't know who to tell and I don't know who to talk to. And so that it sounds so weird to say that that miscarriage blessed me, but it has totally changed my life and still allows me this really cool experience to connect with people that I wouldn't have had without it. So that's a big part of my story.
Yeah. Wow. What a story.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dig into that grief because it's so personal and it's so unpredictable. What are some tools that you used? Did you kind of just learn to sit in it? Did you try to push past it? What's that healing process been like for you?
I think for me, and this like applies to everything, like hearing people's stories is my favorite way to heal and hearing
Hmm.
how people walk through things, being able to talk about stuff. That helped me so much. I don't like feeling alone. And I think that having so many people like come alongside me really, really helped. I don't know. Grief
Yeah.
is so weird. It never stops changing. And so for me, I think just knowing I'm not alone in it and that
Mhm.
so many people are experiencing alongside me. Not like I want people to hurt, but knowing there's so many people navigating it with me, I think that's one of my greatest comforts
I love that.
in grief. And I have to tell you a story really fast because it's like very new. One of my best friends lost her dad this week unexpectedly. And it was just been a really heavy week. My husband like resigned from,
Right.
Industry job, church we've been at 15 years, and lots of like layers of grief. But my dad's birthday is February 29th, so a leap year. And we'd always celebrate around it. But last night we were getting ready for bed and it hit me like I forgot my dad's birthday. And we were at the funeral on March 1st, my friend burying her dad. And I thought I didn't even think about it because I was so, this is going to sound so weird for somebody, but maybe people, but like I had the gift of being so close to her and getting to walk with her through this that like I was removed from my own grief. Like I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
remember my dad's birthday. And there's something about that that was just so cool. That grief is difficult. None of us get, you know, none of us get a pass, but what a gift it was to be able to be with her uh, in such a way that, yeah, I was removed from that, like my
Yeah.
own pain. And then now moving forward, like there's this time of year that's going to connect us in a way that we won't even have to talk about it. We just know that we're both going to be feeling these things. And the connectedness of getting to grieve with people is, I don't know, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so remarkable.
I love that. So it sounds like community and has been such a healing process for you.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that would probably be the best answer for you is
Yeah.
prayer and faith and the own thing, you know, our own things we're working through, but community is huge for me and
Yeah.
not being alone in those places that feel so lonely. And,
Yeah.
you know, one of the grossest things about grief is like everything in your world stops and it feels so cruel that you're watching it all like go around and you want to scream like, stop, like nothing's the same. Like
Yeah.
we can't, and it doesn't even kind of slow down. And so there's this, yeah, there's a really beautiful thing in feeling connected to other humans that will stop with you when the rest
Mm,
of the world can't.
that's really beautiful. What about what about the times when you're like so in the thick of it and the grief feels so heavy? How do you get through that part?
So moments like where I'm at right now, thinking about that, like that reminder that it's not always going to be like this. I think when we're in the heaviest places, it feels like forever, like
Yeah.
in sinking sand, and it's never going to help, or you know, we're never going to get out. But gosh, knowing there's another side.
Okay.
This is going to sound so morbid, but I'm like, even if I die, a different side of it. Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned earlier, like, do you just sit in it? And sometimes you do. You just have to let it be. We're kind of a culture where we're so quick to want to get over things, and grief isn't something you ever get over. It's part of you. I think you have to be careful not to let it become your identity, or be careful of how it roots in you, or you know how it changes you. But yeah, just going, it's this heavy thing is now a part of me. It's now a part of my story, even if I don't want it to be. It's not always going to feel like this.
Let's switch gears a little bit from grief into motherhood. You're raising 5 girls.
So, yeah.
And I know for a lot of us, there's like a script we think that we need to follow for parenting and how it should look like. And you've been really intentional about doing things your own way and what works for you. So tell me, what has that looked like in practice?
Yeah. I always tell my friends I'm a wild girl. There's so much to this. And I think it really needs to get talked about. First things first, and I know most women who have given birth, like you just give birth to a new version of yourself every time we welcome a baby into the world. And nobody told me that. There's like a fixation on bouncing back or like going back to who you used to be. I'm like, oh, there is no, like you are a totally new human. Every time you give birth, you should like give birth to a new you. But early in motherhood, I felt like I could not relate to anybody around me. It was really bizarre, and I'm really grateful for a lot of the cool humans that I met through Instagram who kind of gave me permission to see motherhood or experience motherhood differently, because I'm gonna kind of go through a few things that were really monumental
Okay.
in those early days that are affecting who I am now and how I mother now. But our firstborn was 2012. She was a few weeks old, and I'd always worked, and I knew I was going to have to go back to work, but I couldn't like fathom how. Like I couldn't even. I don't know. I never saw myself as a stay-at-home mom or like a homeschool mom, but when I had Nora, I did something to me. I remember having a conversation with someone I loved, and she said, "It sucks. You're going to hate it. You're going to cry every day. You're going to be traumatic, and you just have to do it." And I don't know if this is like a rebellious spirit in me, because this is like happened a lot, but I was like, absolutely not.
I know you tell me I have to do something and I'm out.
I rejected it so hard. And I was like, you're telling me that I have to accept this unchangeable thing that I hate, and you have all this like regret about it. And it just felt like, I remember my husband and I were like, "You don't want, no, no." And so we both were just like, "We're going to do it different." And in that moment, we decided that there were lots of cultural norms that had always felt normal to us that we were not going to accept. And we haven't, and we haven't, and we haven't. And sometimes there's negative critiques about those things. But one of the coolest things I've learned in motherhood is that other people's opinions don't get to rob you from the goodness you're experiencing, no matter how weird they think, no matter how different they think it is. And so that's a gift that keeps giving, to like when you feel that like it doesn't have to be that way, and I'm not going to accept that. I mean, it means this is so big. It meant like changing our, our whole lifestyle and our futures and our careers and stuff. But yeah, that was a really pivotal moment. Pivotal. I can use words. Pivotal moment for me, where I kind of started to reject things that maybe the culture around me was telling me it's how it had to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I feel like we kind of did the same thing, especially while all the kids were young. And then now, as they've gotten older, it just wasn't fitting as much. And so
Yeah.
now we've had to like pivot to something new that does work. And I think that's all part of it too.
Yeah, I think that's to go off on a tiny bit of a tangent, a gift that we just don't know we can do. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, if you believe something, you think it always has to be that way. And definitely in this era of our lives, I'm like, you can just change and change and change and
Yes.
change and unlearn and relearn. And yeah,
I love that.
I never planned to homeschool, but I also, this is like, a woman stopped me in the bathroom. I'm just going to share this other story because it was,
Yeah.
and I had two babies on my hips. Our oldest two are 16 months apart. She stopped me and she said, "Enjoy it, Mama. You only have until they're 5." And that's the moment that I decided I was going to homeschool. I never like considered it. And I walked out of the bathroom and I said, "Oh, I get them till I'm 5." And then I realized that was kind of a cultural mindset of enjoy it because you only have a short time. And I don't know. I guess if you want me to do something, tell me it can't be that way, and I'll say it will be.
I'm the same way, so I totally get it. As we all age and get older, retrospect often becomes such a big part of how we process life. So, how has your relationship with your own past evolved?
Did you know it was going to be like this when you aged?
No, I did not.
The retrospect just being like a whole state of, yeah, I didn't know.
No.
Yeah, I had no idea that I would wake up one day and I would remember things from being 12 and 13 and like have such a different relationship with memories. It is bizarre. And I'm in the thick of it, as most women or humans my age are, and I had no idea. It's weird. It is so weird. I want to go back and talk to like every human and just say, "I'm sorry."
I know.
And I wish things would have been different. And yeah, I'm actively working through my relationship with choices I made and who I was. Yeah, I just had no idea that this was going to be, it changes the word consequence for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of us, once we get to midlife, we have kind of these moments where we wish parts of our story had looked different.
Yes.
How do you sit with that feeling of letting it become, like not letting it become something that weighs you down, but being able to recognize it for what it is and also heal?
I'm going to be honest and let you know it weighs me down tremendously.
Yeah. No, I love that because I'm the same way. I mean, I was hoping you'd have some advice, but
I have an incredible amount of guilt and shame. I have parts of my story that I've never shared on Instagram that are so dark and scary, and like still parts of me that are trying to reconcile with how did I get there? Yeah, you name it, it's there. And it's not who I am now, but but it is me. So it's, yeah, I think that you have to be so gentle with yourself, and you have to give yourself grace and know that I didn't have the tools that I have now, or I didn't have the support system that I did now. My whole belief system was entirely different. Inner child work is like incredible, but just, yeah, forgiving yourself. But also, I'll just be honest, there's parts of my past that I hate, and like parts of myself that self-loathing is very much a part of who I am. I don't want it to be. I don't want to say, hi, I'm a happy person, but I also low-key hate myself, because there's just parts that I still am very much so learning to accept. And I think that's okay. There's a lot of people who, I think a lot of us at this age are having to grapple with things that we wish were different, and still trying to grow, and not like the thing that, like, not let it rob me of the joy and the good things that are in front of me now. Because as you maybe know, like, those negative feelings are so energy, they're like, they just like zap you. And so how do I reconcile with that while also being the mom my girls need, the friend my friends need, and the wife my husband needs? And so, yeah, I don't know, I want to tell you how to do it. I'm learning in real time with you.
Honestly, I can't think of a better answer. Like, that piece right there really did something so sweet to my heart, and I needed to hear that. And yeah, just thank you for just being really honest. Like, I think there's a lot of us who feel that way and sit with heaviness.
I've been feeling a lot of really, I don't know if it's guilt, or social media is very weird. I'm talking about Instagram mostly, but you kind of curate this version of yourself, intentionally, unintentionally, and then people kind of form this, like, picture of you, but it's so limited. Like, we're sharing bits and pieces of bits and pieces that, for most of us, are like the highest of the highs. And I'm like, sometimes I just want to, like, tell people, like, there's like so much more, and it's ugly, and it's, yeah. And so, like, I don't know, it's just so tricky though, because it makes it look like you have it so together. And
Right.
I'll even look at Instagram sometimes and go, oh, a girl, my own feed, she looks so like she's got it figured out. I'm like, she hasn't. Like, parts of it, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. There's just to every human, there's just so much more going on. And I think, I don't know how we, like, change our brains to, like, know both exist.
Right.
Because they've been conditioned. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think? Okay.
No, I'm with you. I don't have any advice either. I think it's just comforting to hear other people say their truth, and you can see yourself in that truth and know that you're not alone. So I don't know that we have to have answers, but it kind of goes back to that way you were talking about earlier, where it's getting in community. Like, you're not doing this alone. This isn't just you. You're not bad. Other people feel this.
Yeah, it's an isolating feeling, because you look around, you go, everyone knows. I always think, did I miss that day in class, like, that they taught this? Probably did, but that feeling is like, I always have it. It's not really imposter syndrome. It's just like, I didn't learn this part, and I think a lot of people didn't.
Yes, I have felt very inadequately prepared for some of of what life has thrown our way.
Life is weird. Like, I didn't know life was going to be like this.
Me neither.
Parts. I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I thought that I was going to marry Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and that I was going to live in a mansion, and we were going to drive a limo. And that did not happen.
Right.
So, Max for a different life.
Let's kind of switch gears to like, your husband is just leaving his job. Your dad was a pastor. So you've been in this church community for the majority of your life. So this is a really big transition for your family. So what kind of brought you here? What's happening next? How are you feeling about it all?
We don't have time. um, like there is a hope in me that I have not had in years. And if you've been a close friend of mine in the last decade, I feel like I have sounded like a broken record. Like it's just hard and it's weird and it all feels weird. I mean, we just walked out of that building for the last time 2 days ago. So this is like very fresh, but ministry is brutal. I don't even think people sometimes that know me know that like my husband has been a pastor of like a discipleship pastor, a youth pastor, a teaching pastor, a worship pastor, like every position at church you can have basically for the last 10 years. But we got to leave this week and it was our time to go. It was like, I don't want to like share all the yuck of the last 10 years because if you're in ministry, there's just so much. But we walked out of those doors and I'm going to cry a little bit. But I have my faith and I have joy and I have my husband and I have our family. So many people who like walked out of those doors of our church do not have that. They are so hurt and so wounded, and to get to like leave, it was like perfect timing for our family. There's so much kindness in it. Without sharing too many details, my husband left his art teaching job 10 years ago to fulfill a ministry job that we didn't want. Something really horrible happened in our community, church community. My husband felt like he was to take that guy's job, and he did. And it was hard, and it got harder, and it got harder. And slowly, like our entire community, all of our friends moved away, and it just got heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And through a series of like crazy events that truly are like supernatural, I'm still processing because this is like very, very, very recent. My husband got the job back, the art teaching job. He's a potter. Got his art teaching back at this high school that he left 10 years ago for this. So we thought we would like be at this church for like 2 or 3 years, and it's been a decade. And so I am just kind of like in this place of, I cannot believe that you get this thing that you love that you didn't want to leave gifted back. But we're both in such a like, just like, I don't know. It's just wild. It's just wild. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Over the past 10 years, or I mean, for you growing up with your dad as a pastor, I'm sure it's like so much more layered and so much longer than that. But has there been a deconstruction of faith in that time?
Yes, I know deconstruction has it's a very popular word. And
Popular word.
a lot of kids are using it. A lot of people don't like it. But my dad was only a pastor my last 3 years of high school and college. And so when I went off to college, I wasn't really a part of that church. But
Okay.
there are so many things that I was raised with that I now do not believe are true. And that makes people so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what that is, but I have a very strong faith. But I'm learning that the way that I learned a lot of things were very incorrect. And they were used to oppress people and to abuse people. And there are a lot of things in, I'm a American and I grew up kind of in an evangelical setting that just are not true. And it's an uncomfortable place for a lot of people to deconstruct. And I feel weirdly comfortable in it. It's okay to doubt. It's okay to have questions. It's okay to learn. In fact, that's what you should do. I think that's my personal opinion. But yeah, it's the last 10 years I have working in ministry have been kind of have this idea that anyone who goes to church is the same as someone who doesn't. They're just really good at hiding stuff. If you go to a church, if you are a churchgoer, there's a book you should read. I haven't been able to make it through it because I can't get through the first few pages because it's too fresh. So it's called Pastors Are People Too. And yeah, I have a lot of empathy for humans of all faith. And I think it's really, we're all learning. I don't think anybody has it figured out. And if you meet someone that thinks they have it all figured out, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Are you doing that? As a
Yeah, I feel like it's been a long process and not one that I don't that I think will ever be finished.
Oh,
Does that make sense? I
yes.
think that there was some deconstruction, but then there was a lot of rebuilding. And I think that that's always going to be happening in my relationship with God,
Yeah.
learning more and getting deeper. And then there will be times when you unlearn and pull back and figure out more of what you believe to be true. That's been my experience.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said it like that, because I think so much of us have this expectation, and this can apply to faith or grief or anything, but like it's linear. We think like, oh, I'm going to learn this, and it's like,
Yes.
no, it's circular. And grief and faith and loss are like this slinky made up of like, I don't know, wet licorice. It's like this thing that's just changing with us and alongside us, and it's not linear. Like it's so circular.
Yeah.
And I don't think we learn one thing and then stop. It's like you learn something and then you might, be forever. I don't know. I think that's one of the weirdest things about our age too. In that retrospect is like, I thought it was just going to be like, this happens
Yes.
and move forward. And it's like, no, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest parts for me to wrap my head around. That's not the way my brain likes to work. Like it wants goals and you meet this and then you've made it and then now and none of it is like that. It's really messy and changing and evolving and you never arrive. And
it's not bad. I think we're so taught to think uncomfortable is bad or sad and reflective is bad. It's like, no, that's part of growth. Like discomfort is what pushes us to change, what pushes us to grow. And like, it's okay to be wildly uncomfortable. You don't have to like, it's not comfortable, but yeah, there's something in just going, I'm always going to be thinking about this, and that's okay.
Man, I just am loving this conversation. You're hitting all the deepest parts of my heart right now. But we're going to switch gears a little bit to talk about perimenopause. You actually reached out to me because you were excited to try the baseline and you were dealing with perimenopause, which makes me so happy. Tell me about like your experience so far and what you've noticed and how you felt.
It's like one of the only supplements I've taken that doesn't make me nauseous.
Really?
Yes, I get so nauseous. Even if I take like any kind of pill. Like,
wow.
And I was like, this doesn't make me feel sick.
That makes life hard.
I always have to do it right before I go to bed and just like pray I fall asleep so fast.
Well, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm trying it and I'm benefiting from it. And I don't know what the future holds, but perimenopause is weird.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Super weird. On the body and the mind. Like, it's just weird.
All of it. Yeah. And for me, it literally, I can like think of the exact moment where I felt different. Like I had just given birth to our daughter Noble almost 3 years ago. And I was laying on the couch and all of a sudden I just like thought of the world differently. And my body felt foreign. And I just started, these perspectives were different. And I thought, what is this? And then I don't know if you can see it from here, but like this opened up. It's like, why would we want a small hair part? Like, let's just. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like my boobs were like looking in the same direction as Slippery. Like, let's just, I feel like a bag of wet clothes. I don't know. It's just, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, best description of perimenopause I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was just weird. And I didn't expect it. And I don't like, oftentimes like the oldest friend in my friend groups. And so it's so nice, like getting to meet you and lots of other friends that are a little older. So I'm like, yeah, nobody told me that my skin was going to like get thin. Like, I don't know. I mean, I see older people, but it's just, you look at your hands and you go, oh my gosh, I have mom hands.
Mom hands.
But I shared this one day on the internet because I don't know where the quote came from or who to like give credit to, but it was talking about like some of the beauty of it. And it was like, I love getting to figure out like the materials that I love on my skin, like being able to tell people like, I love the feel of linen, or I'm confident in my favorite yogurt flavor, or I don't know, things like that I was like, that is so cool because there is this beauty in like my guilty pleasures, I don't feel guilty about at all. Like they're just things I like and I'm proud to like them. There's just this shift that's weird, but like also so cool. I want to tell you a very sweet story because it kind of it like changed some things for me, but when I was pregnant with my first, I went from having like no stretch marks and just like, I don't have any stretch marks to like, it looked like I got mauled. Like it was not good. And I was crying and I was showing my husband and he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, what? Like, he was like, it's okay. He's like, I have stretch marks. And he was like, dude, I never wanted to tell you this. Like, I don't want to weird you out. He's like, I'm so into them. And, he was teasing and we just started laughing. But I'm like, the way that he has accepted my body and celebrated it has made me accept it and celebrate it. And we'll laugh. I'll say, remember how that used to look? And he'll go, oh, I do. And we'll laugh. But having somebody who like thinks those changes are cool and he's like not weirded out by them has been so cool for me because I'm not always like someone who loves myself easily. And the way he's done that for me has given me permission to be like, okay, yeah, it's weird and it's cool, but you're still into it. So that's been special for me.
So sweet. What a great story. Amanda, I so genuinely enjoyed this conversation. There's so much more I wish I could just like ask you and hear from you, but I just thought you were wonderful. I really did. And I think that this conversation is meaningful because I think that there's a lot of people who are dealing with grief and self-loathing. And, it's nice to know that you're not alone in that. And I think you did a really good job of showing us that.
I am so grateful for what you're doing, Chelsea. I have listened to so many of your podcasts now, and I feel so honored to know you more and so proud of what you're doing. It's really, really special.
Thank you so much.